Hello and welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Angry, sad, depressed, gooners, and also those ones like me that have gotten over the defeats, and I'm a little bit optimistic that we can make it happen on Monday and also on deadline day, and we make it to the UEFA Champions League. So in this video, we're gonna be discussing, like as well, you can see the smile is back. We'll be talking about Paulo Dybala. Lots of stories are flying in around Dybala. The agent is in London, but of course, not only to discuss with Arsenal, but also to speak to Spurs and Manchester United. So we're gonna be diving into that. We'll talk about the top four race and why I think maybe. Look, we might be in a very difficult situation, and we're going to talk about that. But I'm also going to speak about the possibility that that defeat means Arsenal get motivated and we buy some energy to drive us throughout the end of the season. I know we've always bottled it, but probably. We'll talk about that. But then I will talk about William Saliba as well. William Saliba is one of those players that are really in the news, and I'm just tired of it. Listen, lads, there are times when I just get tired of it. And with William Saliba, I'm just tired of it. But I'm going to be I also be giving you an update on that as well. Of course, make sure you join my community on 99 Sport. Now, this is how it's going to work. Lads, I love breaking stories. I love breaking stories. Especially when it comes to the football news. I love sharing my opinion, and I love breaking stories. But I cannot break all the stories on this channel. So what we do is we have that second story, that second channel, 99 Sport. I would basically be breaking stories there and giving my overall opinion on other clubs, because this is an Arsenal channel. So if you see me breaking lots of Arsenal stories and news on that channel, so that we keep the credibility and the fun reaction on this one, you understand what you'll be able to understand what I'm trying to do there, right? So let's start. Let's kick start of things with Paulo Dybala and the agent. Now, this is a story that has been reported in the last 2 hours, and I'm really, really happy to see it, because it just gave me that kind of life. It just gave me that kind of strong breath of life in my life. Now, the story is coming in from a couple of sources, but notably Sky Italia, Sky Sport, Sky Italia, and they are saying this is very interesting, because I'm going to be surprised. I've been surprised, really, and I know you will be surprised as well. This is what they have written, right? This is what they have written. Before Paulo Dybala's agent being in the UK, which we will also discuss as well. But I'm just looking for that story around Paulo Dybala, right? So this is what they've written, and they're saying if Arsenal qualify for the UEFA Champions League, Paulo Dybala will will join them. Reports Marcelo Chirico. Marcelo Chirico, one of those very, very strong journalists, and of course quoted by Sky Sport. Sky Sport also continue to say that Spurs and Manchester United are also interested in Paulo Dybala, who's reportedly asked for around 6.5 million per year, including bonuses. That is around 150k per week. Interesting. Very, very interesting story here. And to add to that, also, by the way, today I got to know the agent of the player. Like, I didn't know his agent, the name of his agent. So the story around the agent also comes in from Sky, actually, which means which just makes this a very, very interestingly credible story. I want to get that. I want to get the name of the agent, because I retweeted that as well. Okay, so they're saying Inter are Inter have always been favorites to sign Paulo Dybala. But if Arsenal qualifies for UCL, the player will move to the Gunners. The player's agent, George Anton, right? That's the name. I mean, that's the name. I don't know, but I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's Antun, right? So George Anton or George Antun is in London. Arsenal are one of the most interested clubs in signing the Juventus forward this summer, as per Sky Italia, and also as per Marcelo Chirico. So that's it. That's it. That's where we start of our stories tonight with Paulo Dybala and the agent being in the UK. Sorry, the agent of the player being in London, in the UK, and also the stories reporting, credible sources reporting that if Arsenal get UEFA Champions League football, then the player will move to us. The agent has flown to London, but of course he's expected to speak with Arsenal, who are favorites to sign the player. That is, if he's going to come to the Premier League, and then you also have Spurs, who are interested, and Manchester United, who are reportedly interested in the player and would love to get him to get the deal done for Eric Ten Hag. So, look, this is Paulo Dybala to Arsenal. Not a bad signing, really not a bad signing. I think with Gabriel Jesus coming in at Arsenal, if you get Paulo Dybala, it would literally mean that Arsenal have just upgraded their front line, their forward line by miles, miles and miles. Because for me, Paulo Dybala probably is not that kind of front man that is that's Romelu Lukaku Hurricane. No, he's not that. But you look at the numbers he can give you. Look at what what he can do as a support striker, and why I love what I love about him, as a player is. You don't really need to place him as a number 9. You don't really need to place him as a target man to get you the goals. You can play him in that number 10 role. You can play him as a second striker. You can play him on the left of on the left of the right, and then he's gonna do it very well. He's in his prime. I personally didn't understand why Juve said we cannot give him a new contract. We don't want to give him a new. They wanted to give him a new contract, but I don't know why they didn't want to pay the money. Because I still feel he is a very valuable asset, and that and that can be reflected with the quality of teams and the level of admirers for Paulo Dybala. Atletico Madrid, Manchester United, Tottenham, Arsenal, Inter Milan. Look, for me, it doesn't mean anything that you have thrown him out. I know many Arsenal fans will come and say he's a reject at Juve and things like that. I think he's a player whose contract has run down and he's failed to agree a contract extension. So moving to Arsenal will depend on whether we get Champions League, because that has been again highlighted and brings out the point I've been speaking of almost all the time. Arsenal will desperately, and I will use that word, Arsenal will desperately need to get UEFA Champions League if we are going to make any any breakthroughs in signing key players. We are linked with the likes of Tchouaméni, Dybala, Tielemans, Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus' agent came out and said, "Look, 6 more clubs are interested in my player, Paulo Dybala. I've just mentioned to you a whole list of clubs." And why I think probably Spurs and United would be less favorites. I don't think this is a story that makes us favorites because we are bigger than United or Spurs or anything. Why they're saying that the player will move to Arsenal is because we look and we are top 4 favorites, right? I still think Inter Milan will not pay the 150k for the player. We know the financial, the financial, cleanliness they need, because already they are in some kind of a financial debt. So they need to be extremely clean, right? Of course, they had to sell a couple of players last summer. I really personally believe they will sell more this summer. I won't be surprised if probably I've seen Perisic could be moving to Chelsea. Lautaro Martinez as well could be moving on. Look, 150k to Paulo Dybala, I think Inter Milan would be hesitant. The only way they would do that is if they're sure Lautaro Martinez will be off the books. His wages will be off the books, and of course they will get some, 70 million or 50 million from selling Lautaro Martinez. That leaves us with Arsenal and Atletico Madrid. Madrid have Joao Felix. They also have Antoine Griezmann. Would they add another striker probably to replace Luis Suarez? Yeah, maybe they can. Maybe they will try to add another striker to replace Luis Suarez, and I don't have a problem with that. So Atletico Madrid, I believe, can get him. Arsenal can get him, and also United and Spurs. But without Champions League football, I think those two will have to wait. So I think with the Paulo Dybala situation, Arsenal need to learn one thing. All right, if they have looked at those rumors, and if they're going to look, if they're going to talk to the agent, and I know he will tell them the only way my client moves to the red part of North London is by you securing Champions League football. If you don't do that, there is no way there is no way he's coming to you. There is no way he's going to sign for Arsenal Football Club. And that is the point Cossy has been speaking about on Cossy's Arsenal podcast day in, day out, regularly. There is no way, there is no team that's going to want, there's no player, there is no camp that's going to give you their player, that's going to give you massive talent without you going to the Champions League. Especially proven players, especially players that want to prove a point, especially players that feel that they want to go to the next level. And listen to this for me. I mean, I'm tired of people trying to make themselves big Arsenal fans and trying to, spread their opinion around. I think many players would love to play for Arsenal at this point where we've just gone back to the Champions League. And I'm going to tell you my reason why. Look, there's so many players that would love to play for Bayern, Juventus, and look, the big names, right? But not all of them can go in there, right? Not all of them can go in there. Arsenal have a project, and that can be, if you want to know that our project is good, you go back to the words of the agent of Gabriel Jesus. Makes it very clear. He says, we've discussed the possibility of joining Arsenal. It's a very, very interesting one. My player would love to join there. My player would love to join them. And definitely, it's an open one. So Champions League football is going to be, you know what it does? It makes Arsenal another market for players to shine, right? The moment you get Champions League football, you're not struggling to sign players. You're literally not. Look, not everyone will love to play for Arsenal. I still remember, was it 2018, 2019, when Jamie Vardy said he wouldn't want to join Arsenal. But for me, that's not even a point, right? That's not the point. The moment you go to Champions League, you can get to wherever you want. You can get to wherever you want because players want to play on the biggest stage, right? And mark my words, we go back to the Champions League. Yes, we've taken like 6 years without being there, but we will be one of the biggest clubs in there. I mean, our reputation doesn't change. Yes, we've not had so many, a lot of success in Europe. Probably, played the final. Under Unai Emery, we played the final in 2006 under Arsene Wenger. That is in in the UCL. We played the final in the Europa League in '99. Yeah, right. 3 finals, not good enough. Not really good enough, right? We should have a trophy, at least. Champions League trophy, Europa League trophy, probably. But I know when Arsenal go back to the UEFA Champions League, we are going to be so valuable. That is one. And players will want to talk to us. Agents will want to talk to us. That there is no doubt there. There is absolutely no doubt. Just imagine. In January, right? In January, what happened between us and Juve, with Dusan Vlahovic? Just imagine then if Arsenal had Champions League, it would have been a different story. It would have been a very different story. absolutely different story. Because you walk in there, probably were Juve still in the Champions League? Yes, they were. They were dumped up by Villarreal. So just imagine if Arsenal was still in the UEFA Champions League and we were in the quarterfinals. Just imagine that, and probably and probably we're playing Benfica, right? And you tell Dusan Blahovic, why we are signing you is we want you to come to come in 4 months, 5 months, you will be crowned a UEFA Champions League winner with with us. That's what big clubs do. That's what big teams do. Yes, they do have big managers, they do have so many other things, but UEFA Champions League is a factor. And to a club like Arsenal, where where we can't have all the other attractive factors playing on our side, we do not have one of the best managers in the league. We do not have a good sporting director or technical director. I don't think Edu is okay. They might be good, but they're not experienced. So I don't think DYBALA comes and says, "I want to play for Mikel Arteta." I mean, there is no reason he would say that. And I don't know. I don't think he comes out and says, "I want to work with Edu," right? Because look, yeah, Edu comes from South America and things like that. But those are not, those factors are not on our side. They're not on our side. It would be very different if we had a manager like probably if we had a manager like Eric Ten Hag. It would be very different, right? Or if we had Arsene Wenger, because with Arsene Wenger, how many players would really want to turn down the opportunity to be managed by Arsene Wenger? The whole of France, everyone who has who has an attachment to anything French as a player would be like, I want to play for Arsene Wenger, because for me, one of the best French managers the game has seen, right? So without a compelling a history, especially the last 10-20 years, without a compelling technical director, without a compelling sporting director, without a compelling manager whose experience is actually zero, then what you need to have Champions League football, and then you will need to have the money. Those are the two things that are going to back us, at least for now, right? I mean, you go back to the Champions League, you finish in probably quarterfinals, because that is where I want to see Arsenal at least. We go as far as the quarterfinals or probably semifinals for the first round, and then in the league we go back. We finish among the top four decently. Yeah, I mean, then you have the ability now to attract other smart signings and other big signings. So Paulo Dybala, it's going to be one factor why Arsenal need to go back to the UEFA Champions League, right? Those are three signings now that you know what's happening is like Arsenal's signings are pending a stamp from the UCL registrar. That is what is happening. The UCL registrar is saying to Arsenal, I have not seen your results yet. I have not seen your results yet. And yesterday was the day when we had to take in our results, and Tottenham Hotspur ambushed us, and they knocked our bus off the road. So in the next two games, we have to make sure that we clean our result sheet and make sure that we take it to the UCL registrar so that we can sign big names. That's it. And you're not competing with Liverpool for Aurelien Tchouameni if you don't have UCL. Liverpool are title contenders. Jurgen Klopp is going to tell him, son, we failed to win the league, and the reason is because of you. I mean, if you are in this team, we would win the UEFA Champions League. To some extent, I feel like getting players is more like more like dating. It's like the transfer market. I mean, they're very, very different. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, the transfer market and the dating world, I mean, they just look so similar. They just seem so similar. And you know why? This is the reason. This is the reason why I think the dating world and the transfer market is similar. I mean, whoever has the money stands a higher chance, right? For example, right now we are talking about an agent for Paulo Dybala who's looked into all these clubs that want his player, and he looks at them and he's like, Arsenal is the club with a better financial situation right now, right? Because if you look at the high wage earners the club has, we have gotten rid of them, and after doing that, the likes of Lacazette and many more unwanted players, like I'm going to talk about in the second part of the show, are also going to be leaving. So if I'm an agent to Paulo Dybala and I know my player needs 150k per week, I'll walk into Arsenal, right, and say, give us that wage that Alexander Lacazette has been getting, and we're definitely going to give you more goals than Alexander Lacazette. And I tell you what, if you look at that Man City side that we're trying to be like, and from I've spoken about Man City all the time because City is the club we want to be like, right? We saw it yesterday in Mikel Arteta's setup, his ego, right? The Pep Guardiola ego. He didn't want, at any point in time, he didn't want to show that this is a game where you can't be humble, right? You can't be humble and walk away with the point. No, he wanted to go extravagant. He wanted to go, he wanted to bully Spurs, right? Although he knew he was never going to bully Spurs. So in order for you to do that, I think players like Paulo Dybala play a great part. Paulo Dybala, for me, has the capacity to become a very, very deadly player. Very deadly. Because, it's one of those players that are really hard to stop. I mean, how do you stop him? It's not just a 9. He's not just a 10. He's a combination of so many things, right? Look, I've not seen him play like deeper, like in the midfield pivot, like Kevin De Bruyne. And for me, I think Arsenal needs such a player. If we're going to do whatever we are going to do, we need a player like Kevin De Bruyne, a player who can win for you big games, a player who can win for you small games, but also a player who can just come onto the pitch and create that kind of I don't know how the effect is called. I'm now forgetting it. That kind of ripple effect, right? Right? Like himself sparks others, right? He sparks others into action. I think we need a player like that. So with Paulo Dybala, of course, more videos will be coming up on the channel on what I think about him, on the scout reports and things like that, and why I think Arsenal maybe are doing themselves a very great service by signing him. Do I think Arsenal should pay him 150k per week? Maybe, because 150k for him is a free agent. The same amount of money would be paying for Gabriel Jesus, right? 150k per week, around 6.5 million euros per year. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's reasonable. And he's a player with a resale value, by the way. Paulo Dybala is a player with a resale value. You get him in, you're going to give him something like I don't know, but I know Arsenal will definitely give him some money as a sign-on fee. Free agents don't come free, so a sign-on fee. But if he doesn't work out, I think he's one of those players that if he doesn't work at Arsenal, you can still sell him to Barcelona, by the way. You can still sell him to an Inter Milan if he doesn't work out. Like you can see him as an Alexis Sanchez situation. He can come to Arsenal, then he works out, then he moves on. So for me, look, Dybala, let's see what happens if we get the UEFA Champions League, right? Let's see what happens. Now, to conclude my transfer preparations, I'd prepared a second story, and this one is interesting. Yeah, this one is interesting. Again, it's another Brazilian linked with with Arsenal, and I just hope I can. Right, here we are. Right, so Arsenal are the team leading the race for Sao Paulo's Marquinhos, 19-year-old forward. Negotiations very close with Wolves, but Arsenal are now trying to close a deal, reports George Nicola. Now, if you remember George Nicola is George Nicola is the journalist that actually gave us an exclusive story for the story on Gabriel Jesus, right? Of course, the exclusive was with City Extra. Yeah, the exclusive was City Extra, but he is the journalist. He was interviewed by City Extra, and then he broke the story, and then it's it actually um it spread, right? It spread. So it's one of those journalists that are going to give you lots of stories, with players coming in from Brazil and South America. So what is happening here is that Arsenal. This is not the first time I've seen this guy. Marquinhos, 19-year-old forward, wanted by Wolves. I don't know why Wolves want him, because they look like, I don't know if Raul Jimenez is something that is in a situation where they feel uncomfortable or they feel insecure, based on what has happened with them. So 19-year-old Marquinhos wanted by Arsenal. Wolves are closing that deal, but Arsenal are trying to hijack the deal, with some reports that I've seen around saying that Arsenal could also be very close to agreeing a deal. Now, look, 19-year-old players are good, and I love them. I love them, I love them a lot, because they just give you many options. They just give you a lot of players in the squad that are willing to develop, and also are not going to be very, very hungry when it comes to game time. But for me, that is not the issue. That is far away from the issue. My issue with my issue with 19-year-olds at the moment, they are not what we need for the project anymore. They are not what we need, right? And that directly takes me to what we saw yesterday, Arsenal Spurs. So literally, I'm going to be giving you my second reaction. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comments below of what we've talked about. DYBALA, a 19-year-old Marquinhos from Brazil. I promise I'll do videos about all these people, all these players, so that you understand them. But yesterday, if you look at the lineup that we put on the pitch, the most experienced players were Cedric Suarez, Rob Holding, in the midfield you had Xhaka and El Neni. They're done. 4. I think they're done, aren't they? Because you had Martinelli, Saka, Nketiah, and Odegaard. That is an average age of 22, right? So what actually let us down yesterday, apart from the tactics that were inspired by Mikel Arteta's ego, and I've seen many people coming out and saying, I don't want to attack anyone, and I don't want to say anyone's names I won, but I've seen a very, very big Arsenal channel, and the presenter there is saying that, and I was really pissed, because the presenter there is saying that we don't deserve to go to UEFA Champions League, and these players don't deserve to be in the UEFA Champions League. And in my opinion, I'm like, don't they deserve, or they are not good enough for the UEFA Champions League? Because those are two different things. They deserve to be there because every point that Arsenal has taken in our favor, they've got it. They won it. They are not ready to be the UEFA Champions League because their quality, quality of a player is something that has a limit. So I think one of the reasons why we lost that game yesterday, the senior players in this team cannot be called senior. They cannot. Look, yesterday Rob Holding and Cedric Suarez had one job. Because for me, Ryan Sessegnon, yes, he makes those runs that, at times are threatening, and we saw it against Liverpool, did set up a goal for Son. But the prime role was to stop Heung-min Son, right? That was the prime role, was to stop Heung-min Son. And know what Heung-min Son did to them? Within 36 minutes, he had won a penalty on Cedric Suarez. Look, I know many people said that was not a penalty, but I'm going to tell you this. If you're lucky, it's not a penalty. If you're not lucky, it is a penalty, right? Personally, if I were a referee, would I give it, in a game that is 0-0, North London Derby 0-0, big decisive game, I'm on VAR, probably I do not, right? But let me tell you why that penalty gets given, right? That penalty gets given because Cedric Soares 100% knows what he's doing. And what pisses me off is that Cedric Soares is actually clattering into, because look, that is not a notch in the bag. Like many people saying he gave him a notch in the bag and we consider a penalty. That's not a notch in the bag. The ball is gone. The ball has gone. Because look, Rob Holding is in front of is in front of Human Son, and the ball has flown over Rob Holding, who's taller than Son, and it has eventually flown over Son, right? So Cedric is actually marking Ryan Sessegnon, because you can see where Cedric is facing in that incident. He's marking Ryan Sessegnon, and then the ball flies on top of Cedric. What I don't understand there is why then, after after like a second or two, then he goes in and clatters into Son, who is waiting for contact. Actually, by the time Son receives contact from Cedric, he's waiting for it, right? He's absolutely waiting for it. At the moment he feels it, he goes to the ground. If you're referee, right, there are one or two things. One, you're looking at, is Cedric trying to win the ball? He's not trying to win the ball, because the ball is in the direction where he's facing, and he's committing a foul in the opposite direction. That is what I didn't understand. And someone look, many people told me on my reaction, Cossy, you are wrong. That's not a penalty, right? But we are the fans. The penalty is given against us, right? The penalty is given against us. But then just imagine if it is Saka in that situation trying to win the ball, and the ball has gone away, and then he's pushed onto the ground. Should be a penalty, shouldn't it? So the senior players in this team have just proven once again that the clear out it's not yet over. The clear out, Arsenal, and tomorrow that video comes out, players that need to leave, humbly, players that desperately need to leave Arsenal Football Club. It's going to be out tomorrow, right? Because for me, Cedric Soares, decent player for a club like Newcastle, decent player for a club like Southampton, decent player for a club like West Ham, not decent for Arsenal. That is not what you do in a game that is 0-0, right? Try to win the ball. Try to convince the referee. Because in his defense, what did he say? What was he saying in his defense? You're not trying to win the ball, right? And the contact that he makes with Human Son is unnecessary. 100% unnecessary. It's not that strong, right? It's not that strong. It's not that weird. So if the penalty is not given, I don't think it causes a lot of commotion in the Tottenham fan base. But what I'm saying is Cedric Soares there gets it wrong. The other player is Rob Holding. And I spoke about Rob Holding yesterday, and I'll speak about him today again. Holding. What are you trying to do, son? What are you trying to do, bro? What exactly are you? How are you? Because my question, this will be my question. How is Rob Holding planning to go through 90 minutes, right, by doing successive, consecutive, bookable offenses like that at that rate? Bro, it is Human Son. You're trying to make sure that it doesn't turn, right? Right? And in all situations that Rob Holding made sure that Human Son doesn't turn, he turned. And you know what he did? Foolishly, he was holding him. I mean, his name is Holding, the character and the action you say were holding. So, look, I've never played football as a defender. Like, I've never played football as a defender. It's one of those positions that I can never even think about. But what I know is that the moment a player goes away from you and you hold them, it's a yellow card, right? it's a yellow card. So there are higher chances that Rob Holding could have been sent off earlier than Son. Now there is that video on playback where Human Son just hits his elbow into Rob Holding. But then remember, lads, Rob Holding has pulled Human Son to the ground, and actually, the ball is dead, right? The whistle's gone, the ball is dead, and Rob Holding is still holding on to Human Son. Like, what do you expect the referee to do? I mean, seriously, if you're referee, what do you expect the referee to do? Like, stand there and say, "Oh, Rob Holding said it's a North London derby." There was no way Rob Holding was going to go through the 90 minutes like that. Like, he didn't do any tackles against Human Son. He was only holding him with his hands. Doesn't work like that. Football doesn't work like that, bro. I mean, you could go into rugby, yeah, because I've seen with rugby, someone gets the ball and then you clatter into them and they can even walk off, the pitch dead. Nobody cares. But in football, you do not go on holding shots like that and holding people's body. It is not a wrestling match. So those two senior players, and you know why I think Arteta got it wrong. I think Rob Holding's instructions were deal with Human Son, do not allow him to turn, and if he does turn, make sure he doesn't get past you. Rob Holding is a very good defender, probably, but not on 1v1 situations. Never. All right. If you look at the best game he's played, it was West Ham. And in that game, it was all about the blocks, crucial blocks, defending in tight, in small spaces, defending in kind of zones, not defending man to man. And he was absolutely bullied. And I to some extent, I thought that after getting that yellow card, he would behave a little bit better. Or I thought Mikel Arteta would think about the idea of playing us in a back five. Like, just calm down. He didn't. And Holding, this is not a Mikel Arteta. That that the elbow in Son's arm. It's not the elbow. It's the shoulder in Son's face. It's totally uncalled for. Uncalled for. It's one thing I said yesterday, and I'll say it again. It's uncalled for. Because why is it uncalled for? The ball has been played miles over the top, and it's going to be comfortable for Aaron Ramsdale. Run and give the ball cover. Simple as that. Yes, I know defenders always do that. They just do obstruct the view of the striker, but not like that. Seriously, not like that. But for me, the better option, should have done, run and protect the ball. Your goalkeeper is gonna get it, right? Actually, it's one of those balls where if it is Virgil van Dijk or Matip, he doesn't even run in the direction of the ball. He just spreads out, and quickly he receives it, and then play continues. So, two senior players yesterday, for me, let us down. And that's why when we go into the market, we need to think who are the senior players we are going to be bringing in. That is the question. Who are the senior players that are going to be that we are going to be bringing in, right? I also wanted to put that off my chest as well, right? Yeah, I also wanted to put that off my chest as well. So now to the top four race, because I also want to talk about that seriously. Now to the top four race, but of course, before we get to that, let's see what many of you said. Potian is corruption as its finest. Okay, let me ask you, Gunners, on the show. Right? Let me ask you this on the show. Do you honestly believe? And I want you guys to be honest. Do you honestly believe that if we had a different referee, we could have won that game? Easy question. Do you believe if we had another referee, we could have won that game? My answer, my opinion, no. No way. There's no way Arsenal win that game with a friendly referee as friendly as his name could be, Kevin Friend. Like, there is no way you win that game. You know why? Because we set up poorly. We neglected the urgency that Spurs had to come with. That is one of the things that we had to use to beat them. That is one of the things we had to use to beat Spurs. That is it. The urgency. Because the moment they got that early goal, I said it. Because I said it yesterday on. I know I said it in the preview that whoever gets the early goal will win this game. Whoever gets the early goal wins the game. Forget that crap of it's North London derby, and whoever has let this has scored the opening goal has failed to win 29 times. Forget that crap. Forget that crap. You know, this was a game where one team had to be elevated into panic mode. And what was going to elevate Spurs into panic mode? There were two things. One, Arsenal holding their structure until time runs down, right? So that Spurs feel it's slightly going away from them. Or Arsenal getting an early goal. Clearly, for me, for the start, we started off the game actually better because if you looked at the momentum bar in that game, it showed that Arsenal started better than Spurs, but then Spurs started growing into the game, and when they get the penalty, they actually grew more confident. Right? Actually, the second half, right from minute 47, after Arsenal conceding, it was all about game management. So the only way we had to put Spurs in panic mode was to make sure that we knock the ball around, right? And when they come onto us, we get them on the break, right? So we just needed to create that kind of fear and drive them into the 70 minutes, into the 70s, probably 75, and they would have automatically, naturally, they would have started to panic. They would have started committing into the final third, knowing that they need to win. But you don't give them a goal in the 20th minute. You don't give them 2 goals in at half time. You don't do that. Yeah, you don't do that. So Potiani, I don't think it was the best the best officiated match I've ever seen. No, I can't lie about that. But the mistakes that Arsenal did caused caused our own destruction. It's true. It's not the referees holding. Would any other referee have sent him off? 100%. The penalty, not 100%. Right. But I'm telling you, even if it's not the penalty, Arsenal lose that game. Yeah, Arsenal lose that game. Because even after the penalty, I feel like we offered nothing. We absolutely offered nothing, especially after conceding that penalty. We offered nothing. But I know we can go to the top. We can get to Champions League, and I'm gonna speak about that just in a minute. We should sign big players like DYBALA, Martinez. Who's Jesus? Jesus, Gabriel Jesus, right? Tillemans, etc. that are available. It's a daylight robbery on Arsenal. Okay. Yes, yeah, Cossy, we started doing better. They take the opportunity of the red card to score more. If not, we can draw. Yes, we can draw. Look, Spurs used the advantage of the red card, right? They used the red card advantage and they score more. Is it a red card? It is a red card, guys. It is a red card. I mean, let's not be like people on Twitter who always they never agree that Arsenal lose a game, right? I have a breaking story here. That Sao Paulo have accepted Arsenal's €3 million offer for forward Marquinhos. The announcement should be made in a matter of days. So probably our first signing is coming in very very soon. I'll be following up that story. Like I said, lads, type into your YouTube the type into YouTube 99 Sport. I want to break many of these stories there, and then we do much of our reactions here. I hope that will be fine, right? Uh, I do want to cover other clubs as well, so it will make us better. But okay, so we were talking about the red card, right? And I'm telling you, Rob Holding received his first yellow card, right? After 3 times holding Son, right? Because that was what he was doing. 3 consecutive times. And for me, that is that is the leniency you get. That is as much the leniency you get from a referee. That is as much the leniency you get. And you have to show remorse. Like, at least after getting that yellow card, move through move through the first half. The second half could have been a little bit different. But then after the yellow card, moments away, commits another foul. Bookable. You can see Potian is frustrated. He's frustrated with them because it was only one player on the pitch, right? And I think Cedric also plays a part in that, because Cedric was supposed to help cover Rob Holding. Holding's role was do not allow Son turn. So the moment Son turns, he should be facing Cedric Soares. Cedric had a howler of a game. Howler, absolute howler. But for me, it goes back. We know the quality of our players, and Mikel knows the quality of his players. If he plays a back five, right? If he plays a back five, play a little bit more solid. I think we do escape with many of that. I think because it was more of self-destruction. But then the question: can we get top four? That's what I want to talk about. Positivity, and I say the smile means I'm positive. So can we get top four? First and foremost, it's gonna be one of the it's going to be the most difficult 2 games that we're gonna play. We are panicking. That is 1. We need to recover. That is 2. But then we've lost many important players of our team. Yesterday, you saw it. The moment you have a player like Mohamed El Neni, falling so deep, right? Edin Ketia falls so deep as well. There is nothing you can produce in the final third. It's always compact there, just there. You win the ball in there, you lose it there, and then we created a lot of space, in behind. So we've lost Partey, we've lost Kieran Tierney, we've lost Gabriel Magalhaes as well. So we're going to play a Newcastle side that right now, can I tell you what Newcastle are doing? They are meditating, right? They're meditating. They're meditating. Of course, now they are rich. They're meditating with. They are doing some yoga and things like that. They have survived relegation a long time ago. There are 2 things. There are 2 lessons you take away from that. One, that they can be as relaxed as you can imagine, so we can beat them. Or the other is that they're going to play without any pressure, and us not going to struggle. Are going to struggle against them. What is it going to be? That's the question. So it's going to be 2 difficult games, but I think we can get through them. Yeah, we can get through them, especially given that Spurs play Burnley. I still think Spurs can get shocked by Burnley. Yeah, I still think Spurs can get shocked by Burnley. Actually, our only hope now is Burnley, and it's going to be very, very it's going to be very interesting to see Burnley play a 5-4-1, right? Because that is what predominantly they do. They play 4-4-2, but defensively they're gonna pack up. It's gonna be interesting to see Burnley play 5-4-1 and it ends 0-0 against Spurs, or 1-1 against Spurs, or 2-2, or or they beat Spurs. I'm not saying they will beat Spurs. I think Spurs have an upper hand, to win that game. But I won't be surprised if Spurs fail to break down Burnley. It will be a shame. It will be a shame. And that is the only hope Arsenal have. The moment the moment Spurs beat Burnley, it means we cannot afford to lose a game now. You have to go and beat Newcastle, and then on deadline day, beat Everton. Everton are beatable. All you have to do is make sure that you score before they score, right? And then they will fall apart. But Newcastle, the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, Shelby, in that midfield, it's not going to be easy because Guimaraes is better than Xhaka and Mohamed Elneny. No question there. No question there. I mean, you could argue in the chat. I wouldn't even care. So that's it. That's it. Guimaraes is better than those two. And when you look at what Guimaraes does for and offers Newcastle, it's one of those very deep lying playmakers that are a shield. Literally, is a midfield wall that produces chances, creates chances. So that Newcastle game is going to be very difficult. You have the likes of Alan Saint-Maxima going against Cedric. You have Nuno Tavares, who will be facing probably Joelinton. I don't know who's going to be facing, but he might be facing Joelinton. It's not going to be an easy game. It's not going to be an easy game. But like I said, I don't think Arsenal will just give up. No, we cannot just give up. We've come a long way. And when we don't go to Champions League, you'll start hearing stories of Gabriel Jesus signs for Barcelona. And that is not what we want. Not anywhere close. But I've seen Arsenal starting to starting to sign 19-year-olds. So probably we've started to accept our fate. Spurs has got momentum. They're going to smash Burnley. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. You know why I don't believe in that? Is Spurs have ever gone 2 games without a shot on target after scoring 18 goals in the previous 9. Right? So, yes, they have the momentum. And I know, but they're also tired. You don't tell me, yes, it was a free hit. We made it so easy for them. But you never know. No. I'm not 100% convinced that they're just going to have an easy one. Tomiyasu was my player. He dealt with Kulusevski, and after the red, he dealt with Son, and then after Tomiyasu played as centre back. Dude, the guy is our future. Look, I think he's a decent player. Honestly, I think Tommy is a decent player, decent player. But one thing I'm gonna say about Tomiyasu right from the beginning is, I think Mikel Arteta thought, like many of you thought during the preview, that the biggest threat at Spurs is Dejan Kulusevski. You are just excited, lads. You're just excited. The biggest threat at Spurs is Heung-min Son. 20 non-penalty Premier League goals scored. 21, really? Is it? Yeah, 21 scored. Non-penalty goals. He was always the threat. And I wish Mikel had just decided to play Tomiyasu against Rob Holding. Look, you can't deal with Dejan Kulusevski. Kulusevski is a really, really talented, but you can deal with him. I think you can deal with him. But Son you do not deal with Son. You don't easily deal with Son. You don't easily deal with Son. I just wish Nuno Tavares had started that game, because you know what, Nuno Tavares would have struggled 100% against Dejan Kulusevski, like 100%, right? But it would have been easier for us because you can't block the 3 of them. But what you can do is you can leave one to have a free run, and then you block off Son and Kane. We failed to do that. We tried to hold them all together, three of them. We failed to do that. We punched ourselves in the face. I think Arsenal will win those two games. I mean, that's optimistic. Thank you so much. And William says we ought to beat Newcastle and Everton, though I have a feeling the Burnley will upset our competitors. Okay. Chaira says we played badly, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chaira. I love such people who come out and say, I mean, it's like being in a relationship when you come out and say, look, I was wrong. That really takes some nerves to say I was wrong. And it's no different, right? I mean, many Arsenal fans, many football fans actually. Football is a game that is so funny. When you win, the referee has no role in it. The referee has never had any role in a win. Never. But when you lose a game, yeah, it's always it's always the referee. It's always the robbing. We can't play Champions League football with that standard. With these players, we have to sign good, experienced players. You sign UCL quality by being in the UCL. That's it. Otherwise, the only UCL quality we can sign is Willian. So you sign UCL quality by being in the UEFA Champions League. Non-negotiable. Our coach is not up to it on the tactical point of view. I think, look, there are not so many games where I will blame Mikel Arteta tactically, especially given the fact that what he wants to do is to be, he wants to be a manager who has a side with a consistent identity. We know that. He doesn't want to be told what to do by the opponent. He wants to tell the opponent what to do, right? So tactically, I don't think you're really going to blame him. I mean, let me tell you, all the upsets that we are seeing with Manchester City are going to happen with Arsenal, because these are managers with their own ego. They don't make mistakes. They don't make mistakes, and their decisions are irreversible. That's it. So, lads, that's it. Make sure you hit the like button. Join me tomorrow, 10 a.m. in the morning, live. As we run through, not live. It will be an upload, 10 a.m. In the morning, and of course, 2 live shows will be coming your way starting tomorrow. But of course, subscribe to 99 Sport right now. Go to YouTube, subscribe to 99 Sport, because it's a channel that will be updating you with the latest stories in the transfer market, and also your latest news, team news around all the Premier League clubs. So make sure you do that. As we say, good night.